Imagine the world stopping, the sky opening, and an event so grand that no one will be able to ignore it. Jesus returning, exactly as prophesied, and stepping on the Mount of Olives. Does it seem distant? Maybe, but the signs are everywhere, and many simply don't want to see them. Wars, chaos, absolute control, persecution, all of this has already been warned. The big question is, are you ready for what comes next? Because when that day comes, there will be no more time to prepare. In this video, you will understand what is really coming and what you need to do before it is too late. If all this is about to happen, pretending you don't see it won't change much. The signs are there, the prophecies are being fulfilled, and time is passing. Some people won't realize until it's too late, but you still have a chance to understand and prepare for this big event. So, subscribe to the channel and leave a like, because from now on, we'll tell you everything that's about to happen. Let's go to the video. The wind blows thickly over the hills of Jerusalem, carrying with it the weight of centuries. The Mount of Olives, motionless and silent, has been the scene of farewells, prayers, and tears. But what many don't realize is that this mountain is not just a place marked by history, it is a marker of the future. Zechariah's prophecy was not a mere religious speech. It was a warning, a harbinger of something that will shake the earth and redefine existence as we know it. On that day, his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives east of Jerusalem, and the mountain will divide in half from east to west, forming a huge valley. Zechariah 14:4. Imagine the scene. The sky filled with a light that is not of this world. Time seems to hesitate. A moment that was announced millennia ago is finally fulfilled. The feet of the one who was rejected, betrayed, and crucified finally touch the holy ground. But this time, he does not come as a servant. He does not come like a lamb to the slaughter. He returns as king, as judge, as absolute lord over all creation. And then in an instant the earth responds. A deep rumble echoes through the air. The Mount of Olives, firm since the days of Abraham, since the times of David, since the walks of the disciples, can no longer remain the same. He breaks. The ground breaks as if it were alive, as if it had been waiting for this moment since the beginning of time. The mountain splits, creating a large valley that stretches to the horizon. But this event is not just geological. He is spiritual. It is a watershed, and for many a destiny divider. But why this pile? Why this exact place? Why this specific moment? Jerusalem has seen kings fall, empires rise, temples destroyed and rebuilt. But he's never seen anything like this. This return will not be a secret. He will not be discreet. He will be seen. It will be heard. It will be felt. And when it happens, there will be no denying it. And yet, before that day comes, there are signs, warnings. Echoes of this event are already manifesting in our world. They are like cracks that spread before a major collapse. Some are subtle, others are blatant. And the scariest thing, they have already started. The world doesn't fall apart all at once. First it cracks. Cracks appear, small and discreet, almost imperceptible to those who live on autopilot. But to those who observe closely, these signals are deafening. Since ancient times, the scriptures have warned that before the day of the king's manifestation, the earth would groan, the heavens would give warnings, and humanity would move towards a moment of unprecedented rupture. The prophetic clock has not started now. It has been counting down for a long time. The precursor signs have always been among us, like pieces of a puzzle that little by little fall into place. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, said Jesus. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines, pestilences and earthquakes in various places. Matthew 24:6-7. And what are we seeing today? Conflicts erupting in every corner of the planet. The Middle East is on fire, alliances are being torn apart, and new powers are emerging, each ready to position themselves on the final board. But the signals are not just on the battlefield. They are in the air, on land, at sea. The planet is reacting. Intense droughts, devastating storms, earthquakes in places where they have never been recorded before. The world seems to be screaming, announcing something that most people insist on ignoring. And then there is the human factor, the coldness, the moral decadence, the departure from faith. What was once considered unthinkable is now normal. Perversion becomes culture. Right and wrong become confused until no one knows how to discern between light and darkness. Every day, values are corrupted, truths are distorted, and a new system is being built. a system that completely rejects the Creator. But there is a sign greater than all the others, an event that cannot be denied, something that, when it happens, it will no longer be possible to close your eyes. It is directly linked to the moment when Jesus sets his feet on the Mount of Olives. And when this event occurs, there will be no turning back. The sky weighs down on Jerusalem like a curtain about to be torn apart. The wind blows in whirlwinds, howling among the hills, as if creation itself is aware of what is about to happen. The Mount of Olives stands there unshakable as it has for thousands of years, a mute witness to the events that shaped faith and history. It was there that David mourned his escape. It was there that Jesus prayed, sweating drops of blood, before being handed over. It was there that his disciples saw him ascend to the heavens with the promise that one day he would return in the same way he left. And that day arrived. There are no trumpets announcing its arrival. There is no silent warning. What happens is visible to everyone's eyes. Those who were too busy to notice the signs now find themselves frozen in the face of something impossible to ignore. He who was crucified, despised and forgotten by men, now returns as king. But he is not alone. The sky lights up, not with ordinary light, but with a brightness that burns the eyes of those who try to understand. Time seems to slow down as he descends. Then, in a single instant, your feet touch the ground of the Mount of Olives, and the earth responds. The first sign is a sound, a rumble that is like nothing that has been heard before. It's not thunder. This is no ordinary earthquake. It's the sound of something breaking, as if the world itself is being split in half. Then the ground shakes. First a subtle vibration, almost like a warning, but within seconds the shaking intensifies. The Mount of Olives, which has stood firm since ancient days, begins to open. The rock gives way. Dust rises to the sky. Trees are ripped from the ground as if they were mere twigs in the face of an irresistible force. The mountain is not just cracking, it is being split in half. The ground separates, expanding as if an invisible hand is drawing a new map on the earth. What was a single mountain now becomes two, with a gigantic valley opening up between them. The abyss that forms is not just physical, there's something deeper going on, something spiritual, an event that marks the beginning of a new era, but also a divider of destinies. And that's when the real terror begins, because this division is not just a geological phenomenon. She is a sign, a limit, a separation between those who belong to the kingdom and those who have rejected it. The world had already been warned. The signs were everywhere. But now there is no more time for doubts, for excuses, for attempts to ignore reality. The king has returned, and with him comes judgment. But before the dust can settle, before the shock wears off, something even grander begins to happen. This event did not go unnoticed. It was anticipated by those who govern the nations, by those who believe they have control over the destiny of humanity. And now, the powers that rule this shadow world begin to move, because they know the final confrontation is approaching, and they will not accept this new reality without a fight. The world is no longer the same. The earth was broken. The Mount of Olives, which has stood firm for millennia, is now divided. The valley that emerged is more than a geological phenomenon. It is a warning. It's an era divider. But there is no time for contemplation, because while the sky shines with a light never seen before, while the ground still trembles beneath the feet of the astonished, other eyes watch everything, and these eyes do not belong to the righteous. In the hidden corridors of power, in the offices that command nations, in the rooms where decisions about the fate of humanity have always been made in the shadows, there is silence. Not a silence of surprise, but of preparation. They knew this day would come. Long ago, your prophets and counselors warned of an inevitable event, and now the prophecy is being fulfilled, but they do not intend to accept this new reality without resisting. The hidden forces, those that have always manipulated the destinies of the people who consider themselves the true masters of this world, come into action. Technology, armies, weapons, strategies, everything that has been developed for centuries is now being activated. Entire global monitoring systems, artificial intelligence, drones, and pulsed energy weapons begin to mobilize. World leaders don't speak in public, but behind the scenes, there is panic. They always believed they were in control. Now they find themselves faced with something they cannot contain. And then the military movement begins. But it is no ordinary war. This is not a battle between nations, between conventional armies, between political ideologies. What is about to happen goes beyond what any human being has ever witnessed, because the enemies who rise up against the king are not just men. These are forces that have operated since the beginnings of humanity, forces that were hidden, masked, but that are now emerging for the last resistance. As nations prepare for the impossible, as the global elite reorganizes, a murmur runs among those who understand the prophecy. This battle was written long ago, but what will happen now? What will this confrontation be like? Who in fact are those who dare to defy the king? And most terrifying of all, what forces are behind this final rebellion? The answer is about to be revealed, and when it is, the world will never be the same. The world shakes. The walls of power built over the centuries begin to crumble. Nations that once seemed untouchable now find themselves in panic. The rulers, those who controlled the economy, politics, the media, the destinies of the people, watch everything without reacting. What is happening cannot be stopped. No more agreements, no more secret meetings, no more manipulation of events. Because the true king has arrived. Since the dawn of civilization, kingdoms have risen and fallen. Empires dominated lands and were consumed by time. But never, ever, has there been a government like the one that now stands up. It is not based on brute force, on armies of flesh and blood. This government is unshakable, eternal. The scriptures always announced that this day would come, but no one expected him to come so suddenly. The world was once ruled by cruel dictators, by power-hungry kings, by leaders who promised justice but brought only destruction. Humanity has always been governed by flawed men, incapable of establishing true peace. But this new government is not human. He doesn't need elections. He doesn't need manipulated laws. He doesn't need corrupt councils. It comes from above. It is definitive. The enemy, the one who for centuries reigned in the shadows, knows that there is no longer a way out. His influence over the nations crumbles. Your global empire, your lies, your network of control, everything is unraveling before the eyes of the world. The rule of darkness is coming to an end. But before the millennial kingdom fully establishes itself, there is something that needs to happen. Not everyone will be able to stay in this new world. Not everyone will be part of this new government. There will be a separation, a distinction between those who belong to the kingdom and those who have rejected the truth. And this moment will be the most feared in all of human history. The silence that hangs over the world now is different. It is no longer the silence of fear, nor the silence of expectation. It's the silence before the sentence. The chaos of the previous days begins to dissipate, but something even deeper and more terrifying is about to happen. The time for separation has arrived. From the beginning it was said that this moment would come. Parables were told, warnings were given. History has always moved towards this moment. The moment where the wheat would be separated from the chaff, where the sheep would be divided from the goats, where those who belong to the kingdom would finally stand out from those who rejected it. No more speeches. There is no more time for regret. Now, the separation will be final. And how will this separation happen? It won't be as many imagine. There will be no human courts, there will be no appeals, there will be no bargains. What happens now is an absolute distinction made by criteria that cannot be manipulated or changed. It doesn't matter social position, it doesn't matter wealth, it doesn't matter status. Only the truth matters. Those who mocked, those who ignored, those who ridiculed the signs now find themselves facing a reality they never imagined facing. They see, feel, and know that there is no escape. But there is something even more terrifying about this moment, something no one expected. Because this separation will not just be visible in the physical, it will be felt in the spirit. The masks fall. The true state of each person's soul will be revealed. What was hidden now becomes clear. Whoever belongs to the light will shine. Whoever belongs to darkness will be consumed by their own choice. And that, more than anything else, will be the most terrible thing for those who have always believed they are safe. The outcome of this separation will be definitive. There is no second chance, but before humanity can fully understand the implications of this, something even greater begins to manifest. Something no one has ever seen. Something that is about to completely redefine existence. The air is thick, charged with indescribable tension. Something is about to happen. The separation has already been made, and those who belong to the kingdom know that there is now a new order. But those who stayed, they don't know what awaits them. The silence that hovers is not just any silence. It is a silence that weighs on the bones, that screams in the soul, that anticipates the inevitable. The time for second chances is over. Judgment has been decreed. But something is yet to come, something much bigger than anyone could imagine. The laws of nature look different now. The reality is no longer the same. The sky has a shine it has never had before, and at the same time, a darkness threatens to expand. The earth shakes differently, not like an earthquake, but as if it were responding to a much greater force. Those who remain feel this. Even the most skeptical, even those who denied it until the last second, know that something incomprehensible is unfolding before their eyes. The truth has been exposed. Those who scoffed, those who doubted, those who laughed at the signs, now realize they never had any control. But now it's too late. There is no more time for regret. What is happening now cannot be stopped. And that's when something happens on the horizon, something that no one, not even the wisest, could predict. In the hearts of those watching, a growing fear takes hold, because humanity has always been afraid of the unknown. And now, before them, there is something entirely new, something that has never been seen before. The world is transforming, but it is not just a superficial change, it's something much deeper. The darkness, which has dominated the system for so long, knows that its time has come to an end. But they won't give up without a fight. There is a final resistance, one last act of rebellion against the king. What is unfolding now is not just an isolated event. It is the culmination of a war that began even before the foundation of the world. And this war, this last battle, will determine the fate of everything that exists. The time of final revelation has arrived, and nothing, absolutely nothing, will be the same as before. The air vibrates with a tension that is impossible to ignore. Darkness does not accept defeat. From the moment the kingdom was established, something in the shadows began to move. Those who ruled the world did not disappear completely. They waited, they watched, they plotted, because deep down they always believed they could turn the game around. This is no ordinary battle. It is not a war like any humanity has ever witnessed. It will not be fought with weapons alone. It will not be decided by military strategy. Because those who defy the king are not mere men. They have always been among us, hidden, manipulating, distorting the truth, preparing the ground for this final moment. Now, they emerge. The sound that echoes does not come from bombs, nor from missiles, nor from tanks. It comes from something much older, something that existed even before civilizations. The final resistance takes shape. Leaders of the nations that refuse to bow to the kingdom gather. Their most advanced technologies are put to work. Their most destructive weapons are activated. But the true strength of this army is not in its science. It's in what humans should never have touched. They made pacts, ancient pacts, sealed in secret. Pacts that guaranteed them power for centuries. And now these dark alliances are revealed. The world's elite have always believed that they control humanity's destiny, but the truth is much darker. They have always been mere pawns. They served something greater, something that remained in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to manifest itself. And that moment has arrived. The heavens shake. Something colossal moves beyond human perception. The final battle will not just be between men and God. It will be between the Creator and those who have long rebelled against him. And then they arrive. Creatures that humanity only whispered about in the darkest corners of ancient scriptures. Beings whose existence was denied, ridiculed, erased from the records of history. They are not myths. They are real, and they are here. The war began, but this war will not end as the enemies of the kingdom hope, because the last judgment is about to be declared. The ground crumbles beneath the feet of those who still resist. The world shakes as if it is on the verge of collapse. The sky no longer shines the same way. Time no longer flows like it used to. Something is about to be decreed, and everyone, from the greatest kings to the smallest servants, knows that the moment has arrived. The final battle was fought. The forces of darkness which have ruled this world for so long now face inevitable doom. The resistance tried. They used all the technology, all the knowledge, all the energy they had accumulated for centuries. But in the end, his strength was insignificant before the one who governs all things. And then, the judgment begins. A voice echoes, a voice that does not come from a single point, but seems to resonate throughout the universe. It is the voice that sustained creation, And now she speaks to decree the destiny of every being that has ever walked the earth. The book of life opens. Names, countless names, every story, every choice, every act. Nothing was hidden, nothing was forgotten. Time may have passed, eras may have changed, but everything was recorded. Those who rebelled know that there are no more excuses, no more second chances. Everyone now sees the exact reflection of their decisions, and no one can argue against the justice that manifests itself. But this is no ordinary time. This is the outcome of something much bigger. The kingdom is definitively established, and with it comes something that no human being has ever contemplated. Because now, the physical and spiritual worlds are no longer separate. The veil that divided realities breaks completely. What was seen only by prophets, what was felt only in the deepest mysteries of faith, now manifests itself before everyone's eyes. And then, humanity's ultimate destiny will be revealed. And what happens next is something no one could ever imagine. Dude, now tell me, could you feel the gravity of this moment? This is not a movie story. This is about to happen. The signs are everywhere. Things are falling into place. And whoever is sleeping, they will be caught by surprise. And look, you can't ignore it anymore. Time is running out. And if you got here, it wasn't by chance. So here's what you do. Leave a like so this message can reach more people before it's too late. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, press that button now, because I will continue to bring you everything you need to know about the latest events and what is yet to come. Now, don't leave here. There is a video appearing on the screen that will make you even more aware of all this. Click there and stay with me. Now stop and think a little. Everything we said here is not theory. It's not an exaggeration. It's happening. The signs are there, printed all over the world. Every event, every change, every crisis are not coincidences. These are warnings. Clear warnings for anyone who wants to see. And then I ask you, are you prepared? Because this moment will not be something distant, something for another generation. He's knocking on the door. And when it finally arrives, there will be no way to ignore it. There will be no time to think. There will be no going back. Many people will be taken by surprise, thinking that everything was just talk, that all of this would take a long time to happen, but by the time the world realizes, it will be too late. And no matter status, money, position, none of that will make a difference. What will matter is what you did now, while you still had time. So, if this message made sense to you, if something inside you awakened, don't ignore it. Leave a like right now, because this isn't just a video, it's an alert. And the more people watch, the more people can wake up before it's too late. And look, subscribe to the channel now, because I will continue to bring you everything you need to know about the latest events and what is yet to come. Don't wait for chaos to arrive to understand what's happening. Press that button and come with me on this journey. Now do the following. Do not leave the channel. There's a video appearing on your screen now that will show you even more details about all of this. Click on it now and keep watching, because this story isn't over yet.